this is very important. April 2016, RBI have changed the lending rate regime to what is called as marginal cost of lending rate. Marginal cost lending rate. So before April 2016, there was what is called as base rate system. Now try to understand. In base rate, every bank will announce a rate, what is called as base rate. The meaning means the bank normally will not lend below the base rate. So it's a benchmark lending rate. Base rate is a benchmark. So SBI will announce a base rate. HDFC will announce a base rate. So what does it mean? It is from that rate only the bank will start lending. It will never lend below the base rate. But there are exceptions. But I am talking about exceptions are, for example, there are certain schemes like for weaker sections, differential rate interest rate schemes are there. So I am not talking about exception category where the bank give loan at even 4% of interest rate also, but that generally government is supporting those schemes. I am talking about general lending. So normally the bank will never lend below its base rate. Now what the bank will do? From the base rate, depending upon the customer, depending upon the tenure. So what is the specialty of tenure? Normally, if the tenure is high, interest rate will be high. If you see the loan, this is how bank set a loan. If the tenure, if it is a loan is for 5 years, if the loan is for 1 year, or if you see the loan of 10 years, the interest rate will be higher for the more, because there is a risk is there. As time passes, risk is there. So normally, depending upon the tenure, the bank set a high interest rate. Again, depending upon the customer, if there is a high creditworthy customer, the interest rate will be little bit lesser. Another thing is that whether the loan is securitized or not, collateralized or not. If it is a collateralized loan, interest rate will be, that's why if you notice one thing, housing loan is having a lesser interest rate compared to other loans. First of all, that is one is that it is result in the economic growth of the country, because housing sector will boost economic activity. Secondly, the bank have a guarantee. If this borrowed person is not paying back the money, he can take that securitized, mortgaged, or this collateralized that property he can take. So just have an idea. Now regarding this base rate system, what I am trying to say, which was the earlier lending rate regime, the bank, once they set the base rate, based on that it decide the lending rate. Now the question is how the bank set this base rate. It's very important. How the bank set the base rate. Mainly it take into consideration what is called as the deposit rate. Under the base rate system, the bank base rate is highly influenced by the deposit rate. Then there are other factors also. Other factors like the cost involved for CRR. You know that CRR results in a higher cost for bank. Then bank will have its own operational expenses will be there. Then the bank will take profit also, but it will take into consideration its own profit when it decides the base rate. But the problem with this base rate system is the bank revise the base rate at their own will. So bank normally don't change the base rate as the RBI changes its policy rate. So that time what the bank used to complain is, okay, our deposit rate we can't cut the deposit rate. Now if you want to reduce the lending rate, what the bank have to do parallelly? The bank have to cut the, see, then only that it will match. It's, see, lending rate is proportionate to the deposit rate. Now if you want to cut the lending rate, naturally the deposit rate also have to come down. Now what the bank complain? Bank says that we can't cut the deposit rate. Why? Because we can't, one, it's not only that, we may lose the customer. How? There are our competitors like post office saving deposit is giving a, or small saving deposit is giving a better interest rate than bank. So that is one condition. It says, then what the government or with what the government have done during that time, during the last 1 year, it started reducing the small savings rate. So that's a different topic we'll discuss later. Okay. Now when RBI realized that it's difficult to make bank to follow its policy rate, RBI shifted by seeing the weaknesses of base rate system, where the base rate is mainly determined by the deposit rate, where, keep this in mind, repo rate is not taken into consideration. This is a very key point. Under base rate, repo rate is not taken into consideration while calculating the base rate. So the policy rate will never get affected in general when the bank calculate the base rate system. So by seeing all these weaknesses in the base rate system, RBI have come up in April 2016 with a new lending rate, benchmark lending rate regime, what is called as marginal cost of lending rate, in the sense that a new concept, what is called as marginal cost, was introduced. In economic term, marginal have different meaning. In economic term, marginal cost is, it is the latest cost, recent latest cost. Now bank always talk about the cost of funds. Bank talks about the cost of funds determine its lending rate. So what is the bank cost of fund? In the earlier regime, the cost of fund was mainly deposit rate. Now in the new regime, what changes have made in the marginal cost is, it has brought repo rate into consideration under marginal cost. So when, see, under marginal cost, what changes RBI have done is, RBI explicitly said that the repo rate have to be taken into consideration. So if repo rate is changed last month, when the bank is giving loan to a new customer, he has borrowed the money at the recent policy rate, and if the bank might have brought down the deposit rate recently, that also have to. So the deposit rate, earlier the deposit rate the bank used to consider as the average deposit rate. Under MCLR, it has to take into consideration the latest repo rate. It had to take into consideration the latest, not the average, the latest deposit rate. So what will happen? Comparatively, the bank have the marginal cost of lending rate will have a better transparency. It will be more transparent, because everybody knows what is the latest deposit rate. Everybody knows the latest. Suppose you are going to take a new loan, ask them to give you loan under MCLR, because under MCLR you will be, at the present context, you will be getting the loan at a lesser interest rate. Reason being, the deposit rate is low now. The policy rate is now at 6.25. So this have to be taken into consideration by the bank while deciding marginal cost lending rate. Earlier it was deposit rate was average. Now it is not that average deposit. It's not. It is recently at what rate you have taken the deposit. Recently, what is the policy rate? Okay, and more than that, in order to make a bank strictly shift to it. It has told every bank monthly wise. Earlier it was not there. Every month bank have to revise their, every month the bank have to mention their, so it become very transparent. It has become very transparent. It is because it have to announce, the bank have to announce every month that this is their lending rate. Every month the bank have to announce, every month the bank have to announce their lending rate. So this is again another key feature of MCLR, every month. Second is, it have to mention 5 rates. It have to mention 5 rates of different tenure. That is from 1 day to up till 1 year. So a 5 rate, and it has 5 rate in the sense that I told you based on tenure the interest rate will be interest rate. So try to understand the tenure which is bank is mentioning under MCLR is that 5 rate is in the 1 year range, in the 1 year range. Just have an idea, every month the bank have to announce, every year the bank have to announce its new lending rate under marginal cost, and it has to mention 5 rates under 5 rates for 5 different tenure till 1 year. Just have an idea, 5 rates, and monthly the bank have to. So what is the advantage of this new regime? It will have, compared to base rate, it will have better monetary transmission. It will have better monetary transmission. Second, it will be the mechanism will be more transparent. Compared to the base rate. Then it is fair. It is fair to the borrower. And what about to the lender? Lender also it is fair. It is, see, the bank is not losing anything. It is a fair and transparent system. This will result in, this MCLR regime will result in a transparent and a fair system, not only to the customer, the bank is also not losing it, because the bank is charging at what? See, bank is still making a profit. See, I am using the word fair. So fair in the sense that it should be fair for, see, it is, see, you are not making profit. See, what generally what bank is doing is, the loss which it had, now what the bank is complaining, bank is saying that we are having bad loan, that's why we are not reducing interest rate. Bad loan happened, why? Now you are a poor customer, why you should get affected? Well, since Mali have taken money from a bank and the bank is having loss, why you should get affected because of Malia? So that's not fair. Fair in the sense that this is the present interest rate, this is the deposit rate, calculate the profit from it and then give a loan. That is fair for the customer and it's fair for the bank also. Just have an idea. So MCLR will result in better monetary transfer. What to do? Before MCLR take its wing, demonetization have. So we have to wait. So let's this, now everything will get affected. All the monetary policy tool which the RBI have done in in 2016, everything had gone from November 8 onwards from that decision. So what all I am trying to say is we need to wait for another 2 more months till this demonetization impact comes, gets downwards or gets stabilized. Then we will see that what will happen in relation to the other factors in relation to the money supply and related policy thing. So just have an idea, MCLR, and there will be, now whenever you read news, these terms will come across. So that's why I'm telling again, I'm making it very clear. Even though the in the initial stage you may find it bit difficult to understand the economic concept. Once you understand the concept, I guarantee I'm telling you, it is very easy to answer a economic question. Once you understand the concept, once you are clear with the concept in relation to economy, the question will look very easy for you. Only thing is, for that to happen, I'm telling, making it again and again, don't scold me at when I post you article at night 2 p.m. This fellow troubling me. How many articles he is sending? Try to understand. I am posting that article because I feel that if you see, my purpose is you after reading that article, if you are able to understand what that article means, it means from your examination point of view, you can answer any article. Sorry, you can answer any question. In economy, I am telling you, there is no textbook because every day things changes. So textbook can't be changed. The textbook is only economic survey. Now other textbook is not at all updated. So your basic textbook is your newspaper. I'm telling you, if you see it if you see the November news and December news, lot of changes are there. You'll get confusion. Oh, November says like this, December says like this. You need to be very updated. You need to have an idea what has happened in November, what has happened in December, what is the relation between the November news and December news. So for that to happen, your concept have to be very clear. Once your concept is clear, and once you are able to read the news and understand it, both the editorial and other related news, things will become very easy for you. And I'll give you a trick. Trick is, in economy, what all concept is mentioned is the news. What all concept is mentioned in the news, only that much is important for you. They will not go beyond it. But related things, so what all is coming recurrently in the newspaper is your questions for your prelims. Now, in the money and banking class which we discussed yesterday until now, what all things you come across in the newspaper, especially in the few months? One is MCLR is coming, repo is coming, reverse repo is coming, then this incremental CRR is coming, then bond yield is coming, market stabilization scheme is coming recurrently, then a concept what is called as cash management bill. We'll come to it. So before that, in 2016, now see what UPSC is doing. April 2016, RBI have introduced MCLR. In August 2016 in prelims, they asked that question. Answer that question, module 1B. This question they didn't ask the concept, they asked the impact, benefit or the purpose of MCLR. So to answer this question, you need to be very clear with this concept. What is this MCLR and what was the earlier regime? Earlier regime is base rate regime. So just go and read the material. Now MCLR is in news again. So be very clear with the concept. What all constitute MCLR and what is the basic difference between MCLR and base rate? It's there in the material, I already explained. Please revise it. What is the answer? Both 1 and 2. Both the statement are correct.